Hey, Biker Movie Reviews. Today we are doing Passengers. Chris Pratt, oh sorry, Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. I'm gonna call this Stockholm Syndrome in space. That's exactly what it is. I've seen this movie before. It came out in 2016. This movie is Stockholm Syndrome in space. It's exactly what it is. It's a very simple premise. Chris Pratt is on a ship. It's called the Avalon. It's somewhere off in the future. They're going to this new colony, and everybody on the entire ship is in hypersleep. Sorry, burping. Uh, Everybody on the ship is in hypersleep. The entire ship is automated, run by the computer and the AI system and robots doing things. Um, and then a meteor shower happens. Even though it has shields, one of the meteors gets through and does some major damage, which makes systems flicker on and off, and it wakes up Chris Pratt's little sleep chamber capsule thing. Wakes him up. He gets up. He's trying to figure out what's going on. You find out that he's woken up 90 years before they reach their destination. So he has a long time on that ship. More likely, he's going to die on the ship. Um, so it starts off with him on the ship, running around doing things. Luckily, there's an android bartender, so he gets to get a somewhat interaction daily with someone else. Technically, not someone else, but something else. And then he goes around, does different fun, exciting things on the ship. He tries to put himself back into hypersleep. No go. Can't do it. Once you're out, hypersleep. You can't be put back in. And then you find out that it's a year and 3 weeks. He goes out on the ship. They had kind of a little spacewalk thing. So he's able to have a spacewalk and see the entirety of the universe. Comes back into the ship. And he goes back into the airlock with no suit. And he's about to kill himself. He doesn't do it, of course, because that would be a quick movie. He comes back in and he's drinking and gets upset, and he happens to see Jennifer Lawrence's cockpit. She's so beautiful. She's so amazing. She's so nice. She's so cute. She's so pretty. Then this is where it starts to get creepy. He starts to kind of low-key stalk her. He reads because she's a writer, he reads every single book that she's written. He went through, got her personal history, kind of cyber stalked her with her being sleeping there. I mean, it was a bit creepy. And then he's debating of, can I wake her up? Should I wake her up? How do I wake her up? No, I shouldn't wake her up. Maybe I should wake her up. Now, that wouldn't be right for me to wake her up. I'm gonna wake her up. Like, what? So basically, he wakes Jennifer Lawrence's character up, and then just pull the smooth move of, "Oh, you're up too." I don't know. It's something happened. Something went wrong. You went wrong, Chris Pratt. Your characters went wrong. Anyway, when you're the only two on the ship and you both have the same malfunction, of course she freaks out because she wants to go back into hypersleep, and he basically divulges all the information of, hey, we're about 89 years out from our destination. Of course, that sends anyone off the deep end and freaking out and trying to get back in. Then, of course, they have to explain that, no, you can't. Anyway, takes her to the ship's amenities. They have video games, sports, swimming, like a dance type revolution type thing in there. And they low-key fall in love. I mean, literally, you're the only two people on, I wouldn't say on Earth, but on the ship. Can't really kind of, that biological need is just going to happen. So they wind up hooking up, and it's funny because beforehand, before she was actually woken up by Chris Pratt, uh, the guy's Chris Pratt's talking to the bartender, and says, "Don't ever let her know that I woke her up." So he's cool. So on the night where he's going to basically low key propose, he has a little ring that he fashioned out of copper wire, and he goes off, and she's like, "Oh, you know, we don't keep any secrets together." And he's like, "Yeah," and the android's like, "Oh, you don't?" And he's like, "You heard the lady," and walks off. You didn't see that one messing up. You should have gave the guy a wink or something, a nod, something. But nope. Of course, the android's like, "Oh, I remember a year ago when he was talking about waking you up." She's like, "What?" Yeah, he was thinking of should he do it, should he not wake you up. And props to Jennifer Lawrence's acting during the scene. That face of like terror and anger and sadness and hate was just perfect. Perfect. One of my favorite parts is after she just freaks out and runs off, Chris Pratt's sleeping, and she just comes over his bed and starts pounding on him. And I'm like, he deserved it. She takes a crowbar and she's about to hit him, and then he's like, F it, just do it. She doesn't do it. If you're not gonna hit him across the head, hit him across the body. Anyway, so she's angry at him. We don't know how much time has passed since then, but we do figure out that it's probably around another year. That's what I'm guessing, because Lawrence Fishburne is in this movie, and he's one of the deck chiefs or deck captains, commanders, whatever. He wakes up, and they went from 89, and they tell him 88 years. So that makes me think that's another year. So he was at 90. Yeah, he spent a year by himself. So yeah, maybe it wasn't that long. Yeah. Anyway, Lawrence Fishburne character, his special being a crew member, his little badge that he has on his wrist allows him to access some stuff that they finally needed, which was like the major, the crew base and the deck that they couldn't get to. It was like protected by a firewall, and there was no access to regular people, which those two were. And then you find out that something is majorly wrong with the ship. It's causing all this different problems, and it's causing a huge error, and something is drastically wrong with the ship. And they do a little simulation. You find out that if things keep on going wrong, the ship is just going to lose all life support. It's going to lose engine, and they're just going to be on a dying ship in space. Right before they actually get to the point of figuring out what's going to happen, Lawrence Fishburne just fades out. Find out that he has 612 problems wrong with him when they put him in this cool medical bay thing that just scans him and just starts throwing up a list. And apparently when he got woken up by all these malfunctions, his pod had tons of errors and messed him up internally. So he gives them his little wristband dongle thing that gives them certain access. And they go and find out that a large meteor has hit one of the computers, one of the engine core computers. Chris Pratt is an engineer, a mechanic of some sort, future space mechanic, and he's able to fix that. But the engine core is venting a lot of heat, or it's emitting a lot of heat, needs to be vented. And so he goes out on the spacewalk because he has to open the door manually. They can't open the door from the inside. And she has to be inside to release the hatch. And he's there, and he's trying to figure out how to open the door so he can walk off, but he has to stand there. Luckily, he took a blast shield with him, some type of door that he used for heat. But then he realizes that he can't set it and walk off. He has to stay there and use his little makeshift shield to basically try to survive. Anyway, he turns it. She flips the switch. Heat goes out and disperses, and he's blasted off into space. Um, and when he's blasted off, he had a tether cord that was hooked up to the ship. Tether breaks. He goes out. It's kind of hard to understand where the ship was going because he went out of the ship and then low-key threw something that threw him up this way, and she was able to get to the engine. She was in the engine room and was able to get to like the walking whatever spacewalk spot and come out and get him. But according to this is my little hand spaceship diagram, he was going this way. He threw something to bounce himself up this way. He's going this way, right? She was here. And by the time, even though he was going this way, when they caught each other, they were here. No, I have eyes. I saw that problem. Anyway, I digress. She caught him. Come back inside. He's almost dead. She puts him back in that little super auto dock healing thing, and it resuscitates him, brings him back. And she confesses, I couldn't be here without you. That's her Stockholm Syndrome kicking in. This movie is Stockholm Syndrome in space. He trapped you on there, woman. I know you don't want to be alone. I know he basically low-key murdered you for a long, slow death. But that's Stockholm Syndrome. He trapped you on a ship with him until you die. It's Stockholm Syndrome. I don't know. What else do you want to call him? It's Stockholm Syndrome in space. Anyway, they fall back in love, and then you low key see that the spaceship reaches their destination. It's like 88 years later, and in the main hall is now like animals, chickens, and birds, and a giant tree. And he built a house because he kept on telling her, "I will build you a house." And there's grass and everything. What I would have liked to see the ending, which I think would have been a nice ending to this, because it stops right there. As soon as you see that, basically evidence that they've lived on there for over 88 years. Their bodies are probably somewhere in the ship. But what I would like to see is as soon as the crew, because the crew wakes up a month earlier than the passengers, I would have loved to see an older versions of maybe a male or female, not Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence, but their children. Just an older man who would say, "Hey, we've been waiting for you for a while." And I think that would have been a nice ending, because that would have meant that they had a true family moment, and they actually grew up and had family, and they lived their lives to the fullest extent. I think that would have been a nice ending instead of just seeing woods in a tree. That would have been like the little cherry and sprinkle on top of the ending of that movie. My rating, it's hard to rate this one because, again, you have good actors, Chris Pratt and Jennifer Lawrence. The design of the ship was very interesting. I kind of liked how it was continuously spinning on the outside, which gave it gravity. Very smart thinking there. They definitely went to someone and got that idea, because if you were going to initiate gravity, the best way to do it would be spin, which would force the G. See, this is me being a nerd. It would have G-force forcing outward, which would plant you in the ground. So that's a way to initiate false gravity. But that's my nerdy part going out. Anyway, it was real nice. I love the design of the ship. Characters, Lawrence Fishburne, Chris Pratt, Jennifer Lawrence. Amazing acting all the way through. Even the android. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name. It's not helping me right now. I'm forgetting his name. But it was good. I liked it. Small cast. Good set design. Good storyline. Good character growth. Chris Pratt does understand that he did something wrong, and he later finds out near the end of the movie that he can put her back in the stasis in that kind of doctor pod. It has a feature when he used the captain's uh, dongle band thing that he can put her in stasis. That he's like, okay, I can put you back in stasis, and you're write your book that you want to write and do what you want to do. So that was character growth. I don't know if I would have done that. I low key would have been like, what does that say? Stasis? Delete? That would have been me. I'm a jerk. But so that was nice to see him give her the option of going back in stasis. Of course, her Stockholm syndrome is in full effect right now, and she does not take it and say, you're gonna be alone. I wouldn't want to do that to you. Stockholm syndrome in full effect. She's in love with her captor. But it's a good movie. I'm gonna give it, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. And the only reason I give it 3 out of 5, because it legitimately is Stockholm Syndrome in space. I mean, you could have called it Stockholm Syndrome in space, and I would have been like, man, same title, same good. Passengers. Anyway, I'll give it a 3 out of 5. It's a good movie. Definitely go see it. It's a nice little crazy romance in space. Go see it.